If you've ever seen the speed in which I identify episodes of Sailor Moon, you'll know that I'm a master of pattern recognition. It would be selfish of me to keep this pattern recognition from the masses, so I want to talk about how to visualize the fretboard in what I think is a more efficient way, because so many times we differentiate chords from scales, from arpeggios, from lead playing, from rhythm playing, when really I think it's super important just to be able to play the instrument as a whole. So today we're just going to take kind of one chord shape that we can move all over the neck, talk about how we can jam on it, and just maybe see things in a different way. All right, and that chord shape is going to be a dominant 7 chord. All right, so we're going to use this in 2 different positions, and we're going to make a loop of it. I'll have a backing track in the description too, so you can check that out. Basically, here's our chord, right? G7. So I'm just going to use a bar chord. You can use any type of G7 you want, but I'm just going to bar the 3rd fret. My ring finger is going to be on the 5th fret of the A string. My middle finger is going to be on the 4th fret of the G string. And we're going to leave the D string open from like a major chord to a dominant 7 chord. Okay? And now I'm just going to make a loop of what we can do where we use this position, this shape, in 2 spots, on a G and a C. So the backing track is going to sound like... And then what we're going to learn is how to solo over something like that and see it as the exact same thing. So here's the G chord, right? And here's the C, 7. Now the same thing is really just going to be... So basically, I have these kind of lead things going on, and it's really the exact same chord. So when I say visualizing the fretboard in a different way, I really just want to talk about a chord and then what that can be in a different position, right? So, and even in the same kind of position, everything I'm doing is still in the same chord. So you don't need a looper pedal to practice like this. You can just hit a chord and then jump into these notes. Now, the beauty of this is really these are the same chord tones that are in that chord. So a G7 chord is a G, a B, a D, and an F. Now this little shape right here is going to give you all those notes plus kind of an extra transitional one. So what we're going to do, and we've done this in a couple other videos, is we're going to slide your middle finger into the 4th fret on the G string right here. Okay? Now you'll notice this is actually in that chord. This is going to be the 3rd of the chord, G, A, B. This is a B note. And in this kind of riff demonstration, lick demonstration, we're going to jump from the 3rd to the root note. So a lot of this is identifying where the root note exists. And again, G, low E string, high E string. Slide in and then grab the root note. And now this is kind of the important part where it sounds a little more musical in my opinion. Okay, so after we grab the 3rd and its root, we're going to back through. And this little run right here is what really kind of pairs this lick with this chord. Because these notes right here, if we talk about it, this is an F, the 6th fret on the B string. This is an E, the 5th fret. And that's a D right there, the 3rd fret on the B string. Okay, and like I said, a G, a B, a D, and an F. So G, B, D, F are those notes in the chord, the chord tones as they're called, okay? And this is a good way to kind of navigate around those chord tones in what I consider a musical way. So you could just arpeggiate it, like arpeggio is when you just play the chord 1 note at a time. So you could go 1, 3, 5, flat, 7, which is, you know, you could do that over the backing track if you want. But to me, stuff like that doesn't really sound super musical, right? So we want to kind of make this navigation around that shape, all right? So again, we're sliding 2 to 4-ish on the G string, jump into the high E string 3, B string 6, 5, 3, back to your middle finger on the G string. start maybe adding hammer-ons. 3 to 5. Back to that third, right? It's really just seeing these as different ways, okay? This is one lick. You could do a million different licks. Right? Any combination of those notes is going to sound good over that G7 chord. And if you'll notice, even you can play some of these over the C chord in that progression too. There's the G, right? Chord tones. Now those aren't the same notes in that C7 chord, but essentially it's pretty much the same key. So if the chords sound good together to your ear, most of the time the chord tones are going to sound good over each other too, unless you're kind of getting like really, really out there compositionally. But I think it's a great way to start. And also, I think this is perfect because you can move this. Right? So here's the G version. And I'm thinking G, high E string. There's my root note. And here's the C version. It's the exact same thing, but here's the C note. So we're lining the exact same thing up with the C. You could even go higher than that. There's the high G, past the octave, the 15th fret. All that stuff works, right? So it's really just kind of taking pattern recognition and using it to your advantage. And this right here, while it's not a super beginner thing, this really isn't that hard to do, especially if you just drill it a few times. Another cool thing to do is double stop through, where you can start hitting these notes together. You know, any of those things will sound kind of cool over these chords, right? So my best advice is to start maybe seeing these locations of notes, because a lot of root notes are kind of just used as places to put chord voicings and stuff, and I think that's why like a lot of people start learning them. But really, I just think they're places to spring forward any kind of exercise that you want to do, any kind of playing. So anytime you see a dominant 7 chord, whether it's like A7, right? Most people are like, okay, A7, that's what I think of when I see an A7, right? That chord voicing. But I want you to try to be like, okay, A7 could be a bunch of different things. When I think of an A7, I think of this, right? I just find an A note, the 5th fret on the high string, and line it all up next to each other, right? So again, just use the backing track to just kind of mess around G to the C, back to G, to C. Again, there's a million different things you can do with it. And as a matter of fact, me and my dude Justin made a whole course on this, and a lot of the course is really just kind of talking about shortcuts and how you can memorize root notes and different tricks so you don't have to rely purely on memorization. A lot of it is just a lot more of this pattern recognition. There's like a lot more backing tracks, and there's like tabs and stuff, which is something that I refuse to do on the YouTube channel just because it takes more time. So, you know, consider taking the MasterClass. I think probably for the next few weeks we'll still have it at the discounted rate until the greed just becomes unbearable to resist, and I'll jack it up to like the normal price. But right now it's only like $30. Check it out. There's like 3 hours plus of material. But a lot of it is stuff like this and how you can do stuff in a different key and just kind of, you know, navigate your way all through the fretboard. So again, my best advice is just to really simplify what you're doing, because I remember I was in the same spot where it's like, all right, well, I want to explore the fretboard a little more. I want to get a little bit better at lead playing. So I'm going to learn all the scales, you know, and then I'm going to learn them in different positions, and linking them together wasn't really a target focus, and it never sounded musical to me. And I think really combining the lead stuff with the chords and the arpeggios and the music theory and the progressions is the #1 way to make it sound musical, and the way to make this stuff make a little bit more sense, right? So again, hope you're able to follow along. I tried to make this as easy as I could. This is a super simple, easy lick riff. I can't stress enough, don't just try to play this. Make up your own, but see the chord tones there, and just try to kind of, you know, mix them up until you can make it sound like something that you like to play, and then just rock it out. So hopefully this made sense to everybody. Again, all those links are in the description. If you have any questions or comments, hit me in the comment section, Instagram, Twitter, or the website. I'll talk to you all soon. Thanks a lot.